This podcast is brought to you by Hoare Chartered Accountants. Hoare Chartered Accountants are based in Galway City and are a leading provider of audit, accountancy and taxation services. For more information, visit hoarecharteredaccountants.ie. Now we're continuing our build up to the Senior Hurling Championship, and I'm joined by St. Thomas's hurler Fintan Burke. Fintan, how are preparations going ahead of the championship?
Yeah, good enough, I suppose. The lads are training well, they're training hard. A few challenge matches played, so yeah, hopefully all going well.
Obviously, you missed, I suppose, the quarter final for Galway through injury, and you're still injured at the minute. How is that progressing?
Yeah, all right, sure. Probably on the road to recovery, but it'll probably be a good while before I see a hurling pitch again, unfortunately.
How has that been, I suppose, sitting on the sidelines watching games for yourself, and I suppose just missing these games because I'm sure you want nothing more than to be out there.
Yeah, obviously that's why you train and that's why you play is to be out there in big matches like whether it's with Galway or the club. And yeah, probably wouldn't be great at watching matches. I get frustrated when you can't be out there. Sometimes I find it's easier to play in a big match because you can actually control what's going on. Whereas when you're watching it, you kind of feel helpless that you can't help the lads out.
Obviously, with Thomas's, it's a change in management this year. Has much changed, do you feel?
Not really. Obviously, Cahill has been with us the last few years. He's good experience, and no, in fairness, it was a very smooth transition. Not much has changed, thank God.
For yourselves, do you feel different at all going in this year? It's probably the first year in a while you don't go into the championship as county champions.
Yeah, I suppose it is. It's a small bit different, yeah, but like any other year, we probably wouldn't have looked back on years gone by. We would have just kind of focused on the coming year and what's to come.
With that, obviously you're going in this year, wanting to, I suppose, hunt that success down. But did it give you time to appreciate last year what you achieved?
Yeah, probably maybe it did for some lads. I suppose most lads, but from my own personal perspective, I suppose you save the days for looking back for when you're finished. When you're in the middle of it, or it's hard enough to look back and try and enjoy it because I feel like you can get caught up in looking back too much. Whereas I think it was the day when you hang up your boots, that's the day to kind of look back and appreciate what's going on.
Turnover wise, then in the Thomas's squad this year, have you lost many, or have you been able to keep hold of most players?
No, in fairness, everybody is still there. In fairness, thank God. Obviously, a few lads are tipping on in age and stuff like that, but in fairness, they're still training and still pushing.
Is there many younger players then that came through this year?
Yeah, probably you'd have one or two lads kind of that have kind of come up from minor. Obviously, they'd be a couple of years off, kind of breaking into the team. But yeah, in fairness, every year there's one or two young lads been added, like which is kind of it freshens the group a small bit.
What are you expecting in this group? Obviously, Gort up first, the local derby there, and then Mike Cullen and Athen Wright to come. How do
Yeah,
you?
I suppose it's not going to be easy. I suppose the championship is as open now as it's ever been. I suppose if you take any team for granted in Galway, you're going to get caught. So, as you said, it's Gorton first on Friday, so we aren't looking past that.
What do you feel is the goal for Thomas's this year?
I suppose you want to try compete. I suppose compete as close to the county final day as you can. I suppose obviously our first aim is to try and get out of the group first, and probably just see where the year takes you after that.
Fintan, you've obviously experienced the split season as a county player and club player, and it can be challenging now for the county players to go back into this. Do you feel it's working, or would you like to see adjustments?
To be honest with you, I don't worry about it too much, or I don't think about it too much. I think no matter what way you have it, that someone's going to be losing out. Personally, I don't mind it. Obviously, it's harder. It's harder when you're doing club and county, and I suppose if you're lucky enough that your club goes late into the year, you're kind of straight back into it again. But again, it's a good complaint to have, and there's a lot of players in the county and in the country that only wish they had that excuse. Like,
It can it be a challenge, or do you think nearly given the break you haven't go at the minute? I suppose you finished hurling in June. You've probably had a decent enough break now to the opening round.
yeah, I suppose if you think about it though, like it's only 6 or 7 weeks. Like it's not really that long of a break. Like when
Mm.
your 2 weeks kind of looking back and trying to dust yourself off in the game, and like that only leaves you with 4 or 5 weeks of a run in to get back in the club and kind of get integrated with what's going on and try to get ready for club. Like, so no, I don't think it's an issue or anything.
For the club player, then that break from league to championship and playing challenge matches and everything, it does seem to be quite a long break in Galway, from what players have said.
Yeah, it is a long break, but again, I think in fairness, most clubs manage it well. Like, you go hard for the league, you get fit, and you get up to a certain level, then you kind of take a week or two off, and kind of then you're running kind of a 3 or 4 week run in for championship. So I think the time off is maybe no harm, that lads get to kind of say, right, they can book their holidays for a certain date, and you're not kind of missing action or missing time. Like,
Great stuff, Fintan. Thanks very much, and
here's
best of
thanks,
luck in the
bud. All
championship.
right.
Continuing our build up to the Senior Hurling Championship, and I'm joined by Killimordaly manager Dermot Earls. Dermot, how are preparations going ahead of the championship?
Um, Pretty good. Hit with a good few injuries earlier on the season. Lost a lot of experience in Paul Madden, broke his leg. Jack Fitzpatrick dislocated his shoulder. He has had shoulder surgery. Ian Ryan retired. So there's a lot of experience there that's missing from the squad at the minute. Probably in the last couple of weeks, we had a couple of challenge games. Tommy Earls fractured his leg. Emer Craven done his cruciate. So there's a lot of season-ending injuries there, you know.
That's quite a lot to be thrown at you, isn't it?
It is. We'd have numbers. We have a good group of young lads coming through there, so hopefully they'll do the business for us this year. They deserve their chances, 3 or 4 of them out of minor there, you know. But overall, preparations are going decent enough. Training is good. A few slight injuries, niggles here and there, but hopefully by next Saturday they'll be all cured up, you know, or the middle of the week. But we'll see.
It's obviously been quite interrupted there, Dermot, but overall then on the league, how do you feel it went for you?
Well, the league went good for us because when we started at the start of the year, we were down Division 2, so our main aim was to get up to Division 1 again. Now that we played some very good teams, we tried out a lot of new players, younger players, older players in different positions as well. Played Ballinderine, Tina, Killimordaly in the group. We probably struggled in 1 or 2 games, but we ended up topping the group and getting into a semi-final against Portumna, who we beat, and played Ballygar in the final then. And tough game, but came away with 9 or 10 point victory for a finish. But delighted to get up to Division 1 again. That's what we set out at the start of the year, to get back up there, because we need to be playing at the top level, you know, to bring our younger players through and everything else.
For yourself, you're enjoying the role?
Yeah, I love it, Jess. Enjoy the crack with the lads and the banter, and training is excellent. We have Kieran Callan there from Ardrahan. He's in training with us, former Galway development coach down through the years, but the energy he brings to is very good, and all the players are buying into what he's doing and what the backroom team are doing. So yeah, it's a lot of work in it, but yeah, enjoying it every minute of it, yeah.
Obviously, the last few weeks then, Dermot, you've been able to get Brian Kincannon back in among the group.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Brian has great leadership when he comes down into the group. You know, he just comes in, does his own thing, and all the younger players will buy into what he's doing, and they're anything he says, and any of the group chats, he'd be talking to them during training, after training. They all listen and row in behind him. They all look up to him. A lot of the younger lads coming out of minor there last year, and even some of the lads he's playing with for years. They know him well, and he's a leader on and off the pitch. You know, it's great to have him.
Just over the last few years, Dermot, then, how would you feel Killimordaly have done in the senior championship?
Look, we're thereabouts getting to preliminary quarterfinals and stuff. It's such a cutthroat championship, as like lose your first game and you're sort of on the back foot, as we'll say. But then again, win your first game and get one more win under your belt, you could be into a preliminary quarterfinal. So look, I suppose a lot of clubs are in the same position. Everyone is hoping to win their first game and get a foot in the door to get into a preliminary quarterfinal. But you could say we could be achieving more, but look, it is what it is, you know. But we'll keep building for every year, and hopefully we'll build on the league success this year and move forward again.
What are you expecting then in the group, Dermot?
Well, I suppose like every other one, everyone is expecting to win the county cup, but realistically, all we're looking at is our first game is against Crowell next Saturday, and we'll take game by game after that and see where it takes us, you know.
Kilconiron obviously and Loughrea in the group there too.
Yeah, sure, we're all neighbours. Like, it depends on which road you take. You're either in Kilkenarden, Loughrea, or Crowell. So we know each other fairly well. Kilkenarden have had great juvenile teams down through the years. So a lot of them have emerged into the senior team for the last year or two. So they'll be a tough team to beat. And as for Loughrea, county champions, and they have a wealth of talent and younger lads coming through again, as well as the more experienced lads with the likes of Johnny Cohen and those guys there. It's going to be a big task, but look, we'll give it everything we have. We won't sit back.
What do you feel is the goal then for Killimordaly this year?
And the goal will be, as I said, win your first game, hopefully get into a preliminary quarter final and see where it takes us, It's such a tight championship. It's all about luck on the day as well. You could get a good run ahead and win your first two games and, take it from there. And you could also lose your first two games by a pint. So it's hard to say, but as I said, we'll give the first game a good shot and see where it takes us and move on.
Just finally then, Dermot, as a club manager, and you obviously have the league and then into championship, and there can be a bit of a break, but overall on the structure of the season and the split season as a whole, do you feel it's working?
Um, Speaking from a manager's point of view, it's probably hard to keep the boys tuned in from let's say you start training in February. Raymond as a league, getting into the league, we had a good league this year, and it probably was an advantage for us, we'll say, playing competitive games versus challenge games. And we didn't really have any time off because we went straight into a few more challenges after the league. But I don't know. I think maybe if the championship could be started maybe 2 weeks ago, put something there in the calendar at the start of the year, and if all the Galway intercounty teams are knocked out by July or whenever, try and get the championship going a couple of weeks earlier. Just might tighten it up and keep the interest a bit better for some of the players, some of the club players. I know the intercounty players need a break as well. But if we could pull it forward a couple of weeks, and then maybe the intercounty players would still get their break, and the season be over.
Great stuff, Dermot. Thanks very much for that, and best of luck in the championship.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks.
And I'm joined by Turloughmore's Tom Quirke. Tom, first off, obviously championship only a week away here now, but obviously how are preparations going?
Yeah, Paul, yeah, we're a week out now. Yeah, preparation's going well. We have the county lads back in with us, I suppose, since they were bet, and yeah, with Galway. So yeah, no, preparation's going well. Training's going good, training hard. So yeah, I suppose looking forward to getting going now in a week's time.
How has it been, I suppose, with the county lads coming back, and how have they fitted into the group since they've come back in with you?
Yeah, sure. Look, it's mighty to have lads of that caliber to come back into the group, the likes of Dahi there, Dan Loftus, two Killians. Yeah, so look at Dara Walsh even there as well. It's great to have those lads back with us. They're really driving things on, I suppose, since they came back. And yeah, it's great. Sean Lennon as well, another lad there, a real leader. So we're learning from those lads every day, and they've really brought the sessions to a new level since they came back, I suppose. Yeah.
The league was obviously good for you winning it.
Yeah, it was nice to win it, Paul. I suppose our main priority in the league was to try and get game time into as many lads as possible. Um, it was actually a lot of our less experienced lads that played the league, and they done really well. So it was good to get a few good performances together in a row there, with those lads. Yeah.
I know it's only the league, but do you think winning a trophy still vitally important early in the year?
Yeah, definitely. I think look, I suppose it wasn't our priority to get a trophy, or that we weren't thinking about it like that. We were just thinking about trying to get performances every day we went out, with the group of players that we had out in the field. So I suppose that was our main priority, and then it's an added bonus when you win it. I suppose, yeah, it's nice to get a small bit of silverware where we haven't won a whole pile in Turlough, a silverware in a long time at that adult level, senior level. So nice to get a small bit of something. Yeah.
Darren and Brian obviously still in charge of you as the joint management team. What are they bringing to the table? Because I presume as players you wanted nothing more than for them to be in charge again this year.
Yeah, exactly. It's third year now. The two boys are with us. Sure, look at yeah, they're Turloughman as well. And they want Turlough to see Turlough being successful and going well. Yeah, the two boys they train us hard for sure. But sure, that's what we want. As players, you're looking to get I suppose tough training, and the two boys definitely give us that. Anyways, yeah.
Just even looking at the depth in your intermediate team, Tom, like you obviously started off playing intermediate and then went on to senior. How much of a challenge is it even to make that jump from intermediate to senior? Because obviously there's a huge amount of young quality players in Turloughmore.
Yeah, I suppose it's great to have our second team at intermediate level, Paul, because I suppose it maybe allows lads that come out of minor level that are kind of just maybe not ready to take the step to senior. They're able to play a couple of games intermediate or even a year intermediate or two. And we have the likes of Gary Burke and Ronan Badger still having around the intermediate team there. And sure, like getting experience playing with the likes of those lads, it's brilliant. Like for the younger players coming through. So yeah, no, it's great to have the intermediate team there as well. And I suppose for training, it allows us to have good competitive games because we've good numbers training with the intermediate team and the senior team together. So it allows us play like 15 out of 15 games, which are very competitive. So yeah, it's good.
Where do you feel you're at currently, Tom? Because obviously a lot of people will be tipping you to be towards the business end of the championship again this year.
Yeah, Paul, I suppose. Look at we're completely focused on our first game. This what is it, 5 or 6 days time now against Clarenbridge. We're not. It'd be naive of us, I think, to look any further than that. We know the threat Clarenbridge is going to pose to us, and they're a very good side. So look at we have to focus on that and yeah, kind of block out any of that kind of talk. I think it's as the Galway Championship is so competitive, I think there could be a puck of the ball between any of the teams in it. So yeah, we're just primarily focused on this first game now and the rest of the group.
Obviously, after Cambridge, Ardrahan and Castlegar to come too, so it doesn't really get any easier in that group.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's great to have good games. Like, that's what you want. It's a competitive group for sure. There's nothing easy there with either of the three teams. But yeah, we're looking forward to getting into it now and getting a crack at each of the three teams, I suppose. Yeah.
What do you feel is the goal for Turlough this year?
Yeah, well, kind of as I said, Paul, I think it'd be naive of us to look any further than the first game, which is Clarenbridge. So, I suppose any competition you go into, you want to try and win it, obviously. But our main goal for now and our primary goal is just this first game in the first round against Clarenbridge. Yeah.
Just finally then, Tom, in terms of the season and the split season and the way the league and championship is structured in Galway, do you feel it's working at the minute?
Yeah, well, I suppose, Paul, I probably haven't seen. That's the only championship I've seen. I haven't seen the other side of it. Ever since I started playing senior, it has been like that. So I haven't seen it any other way. So I know no different, I suppose. But yeah, I enjoy it. Like, look, at you want to be playing games, and I suppose maybe for the county lads, they probably might be tougher for those when they don't get as much of a break. But for us. Yeah, maybe the league is a bit further away from the championship than other counties and that. But no, look at I enjoy it. I don't hear any of our lads complaining about it. So yeah, we're happy to be at it. Yeah,
Great stuff, Tom. Thanks very much for that and best of luck in the championship.
no problem. Thanks, Paul.
Now we're continuing our build up to the Senior Hurling Championship, and I'm joined by Kilconieron's Shane Caufield. Shane, how are preparations going ahead of the championship?
Going all right now. You're 2 weeks out from it now. You're probably all the challenge matches played and all that, and the last few challenge matches we've played, we're happy enough with how they've gone, and you're building a bit of momentum, and like you're just looking forward to it now at this stage, really more than anything else.
How do you feel the league went for you?
We had a poor league now. We had a poor league. We struggled struggled with injuries, struggled with numbers, lads being away and things like that. We got relegated from Division 2, which probably it definitely wouldn't have been something that we would have been hoping to happen at the start of the year. But in saying that, we probably blooded a few more players than we might have thought because the lads been injured and lads been away. I'd say maybe 7 or 8 last year's minor team played the majority of the league. So there's probably 2 or 3 lads there that you wouldn't have really been thinking would be stepping up to senior already, and they're probably going to start now come the first round of championship. So there's a lot of negatives with losing the games, but the positives are there. We have found a few players, and we were competitive in games. We didn't get any hammerings or anything like that. But it's just a bit disappointing that we didn't get it over the line in a few more of the games.
Player turnover wise, then Shane, have you lost many players from last year?
From last year, not too bad. No, Colin Curley. No, he would have been wing forward for us for probably the last 5 or 6 years. He's gone abroad. But other than that, we're not too badly off.
And just then, is there many new players I suppose, into the setup now this year for you?
Yeah, we'd good minor team last year, so there's 6 or 7 of them that'll, like, any of them 6 or 7 could see game time. But yeah, so we're building nicely. Like we're a young squad. Like this is our 4th year senior. We won the intermediate, and like that team kind of broke up fairly straight away after getting up, which was probably disappointing because we had built a good squad, and it didn't really. You would have liked to have had a go at senior with that team for a few years, but I seen the photo of the team from that county final. Like there was 40 lads tagged and 25 lads aren't hurling now. So the last couple of years it's been tough with lads leaving and retiring, but we are getting plenty of young lads coming in too. So if we can keep that going and keep building, that's where we are at the moment.
And has there been much changes then to the management setup this year, Shane?
Yeah, so John McGlynn and Martin Dolan, we had them for the last 2 or 3 years, and they stepped down this year, and we have James Burke as the manager now this year. Himself, Martin Keogh, Davy Gannon, Adrian Malidi, Pat Flanagan. There's a blast of them there.
Very good. And how have you found the change this year?
Like it's been good, yeah, it's been good. But as I said, like it's just been such a stop-start kind of. We've got no real flow to it up to the last maybe 3 or 4 weeks, where we're getting most of the lads that will be playing championship back on the field at the same time. But like the league, there was no flow to the league. You were going out with them, you could have 7 or 8 changes from one team to the other. So it's just in that sense, it has been difficult to kind of keep building. And then injuries on top of that. But like every club is in this boat too. But when you have a young squad, it's makes that a little bit more difficult.
Where do you feel then, Shane, you're currently at as a senior club? Because over the last few years, I think it's fair to say people would say that Kilconieron have established themselves as a senior club.
Like I'd say at the moment, that's probably where we want it to be. Number one, like become an established team. Like we're 3 years up. Last year we got to preliminary quarter final. The year before that we were in the relegation final. So we are making a step forward. And I suppose if you were to look at having a goal, you would probably be saying just do, like most clubs would be, just do better than you did the year before. Keep building. So if we can build on that, get out of the group, number one, and maybe get that step or two further. And like as I said, a lot of young lads there, great experience for them.
Just obviously, Shane, looking at that group you're in, Crofwell, Killimordaly and Loughrea, what do you expect in that group?
Nothing easy anyways, that's for sure. Look, it's senior A. These are the groups that you're going to get. There's no soft touch. There's nothing easy. We've Loughrea up first. Like it's going to be a big test, but like you'd have to be looking forward to it. Like you're training since the start of the year. It's these are the big days. You're going out against the county champions. A team that's probably disappointed not to have won in All Ireland. So if you're not looking forward to a test against them, like what are you at really? So that's like I've 12 years played at intermediate level where you'd be looking at the first game of the championship and it might be against Loughrea's second team or Castlegar's second team, and you want to be at the top table. We're there now and we're just looking forward to it.
Just then, Shane, like what you mentioned there, obviously improvement, but what do you feel is the goal this year for Kilkenny?
I like probably not something that we'd have talked about. Like your focus at the moment is just on the Loughrea match, and it'll be the Crowell and Killimordaly game after that. But I suppose like the goal would be at the start of the year to get out of the group and get into the knockout stages, and see where that takes you. You say about becoming an established club, like, and just kind of nailing that down too. That's probably where we're at the moment.
Just even to go back to last year, Shane, there was a lot of one-sided games when it came to the preliminary quarterfinals. Do you feel it is a hard jump to nearly get to those top team levels in Galway when you look at, I suppose, how one-sided those preliminary quarterfinals were last year?
Yeah, like we got a good beating from Castlegar. No, they were well on it on the day. They were flying it, and like they went out against Loughrea the week after, and they maybe gave Loughrea the toughest game of their campaign. Like down the home stretch, nearly looked like they were going to get there at one stage. But yeah, there is a gap there. Like there is a gap, and bridging that gap. But that's where that's where we need to get to, is to bridge that gap.
Just finally, then, Jane, as a club player, in terms of the structure of the season, do you feel it's working?
Um, to a certain extent, I do. I think it's great that the way the championship is ran every 2 weeks. You're given your date at the start of the year. Every club can plan around that. Um, the big gap between the championship and the league is probably the only real issue that I'd say club players have. Everything else seems to be fine. Like I don't know, it's got to 2 months now since the league finished for us, anyways, and you have this big gap. You have to go looking for challenge matches. Like even if the league was pushed back a bit and Galway get knocked out early, then every club has their all their county under 20s, all their county players to pick from for maybe 2 or 3 league games. Then, and every club will probably feel like they have a better idea of where they're at if that's the case, if you can get all your players, because it's for a small club like us now. I know we didn't have anyone with the seniors this year, but we had a few with the under 20s, and they're not even playing for the under 20s, and then they're not allowed to play for the clubs, and it can be very frustrating when you have low numbers and you're trying to compete like with decent teams.
Great stuff, Shane. Thanks very much for that, and best of luck in the championship.
So thanks, Bob.